Joining me now is Democratic Senator New Jersey, Bob Menendez. He is chairman of the powerful Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, it's always a pleasure to see you, sir. I want to just kind of get your thoughts out the gate. It's clear we're in a dangerous time. No one is under more of a threat than Ukraine. What is the message that the United States should be sending to the people of Ukraine?
Well, good to be with you, Jose. And the message is we have a strong, unwavering commitment to Ukraine's territorial sovereignty, to assist it in defending against Russian aggression. That is a absolute commitment, as is evidenced by the more than $600 million that the Biden administration has advanced in lethal material to Ukraine. The most recent decision having U.S.-made weapons transferred from some of the Baltic states, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, including Javelin anti-tank missiles, and the endorsement of the administration of my mother of all sanctions bill, which we think is essential to send a very clear message to Putin that there will be devastating consequences to him and to the Russian economy should he make the fatal mistake of invading Ukraine.
What would that bill give the United States? What tools would that bill give the United States?
Jose, these are beyond the normal sanctions. I've been watching some of your programming before and at other times listening to various channels talk about, well, sanctions don't have the consequences. Not these sanctions. These sanctions, which is why I call the mother of all sanctions, would not only directly sanction Putin and military and oligarchs in Russia, it would sanction Russian sovereign debt. It would potentially unplug Russia from the SWIFT operation, which is the international financial transaction systems. It would accelerate $500 million, $500 million in Ukraine in military assistance. And that's just the start of it. There's so much more. And so at the end of the day, it sends a very clear message to Putin. Not only will you and the Russian economy face devastating sanctions, including, by the way, sectoral sanctions, including sanctions on their extraction industries, which is basically what Russia's economy is, but you are going to face a much more fortified Ukraine. That means that if you send Russia's sons into battle, expect that the casualties of war will send many back to Russia in body bags.
I know, Senator, you were very involved, very passionate about what went on in the Senate last night on voting rights. How significant of a failure was the vote last night?
Well, look, it's a big disappointment. There's no question about it. As you and I both know from our family's histories, freedom and the right to vote is essential to all other things. That's what Dr. King called the right to vote, the most powerful, important tool to end oppression and to create opportunity. But it's unfortunate that while two of our colleagues on the Democratic side didn't join us, not one Republican joined us, even on the bill. Forget about the rules change. So you would have thought that the 16 Republicans, led then by Senator McConnell, the Republican leader in 2006, who voted to extend the Voting Rights Act then, that what's different between 2006 and now? That 16 of them that voted with us then did not vote with us last night. Had they voted with us, we in fact would have passed these significant pieces of legislation to guarantee the sacred right to vote, and there would have been no rules change necessary. So yes, I'm extremely disappointed, but that won't stop us from using the Justice Department to enforce the voting rights of people as guaranteed by the Constitution. It won't stop us from pursuing actions against political gerrymandering, and we'll continue to challenge our Republican colleagues. Several of them on the floor last night made statements about what they are for, like the Complete Count Act, which is only one element. It's not about voting rights directly, but at least it would ensure that we don't have another attempted coup as we saw under President Trump.
Senator, kind of a curious thing happened overnight. We learned that the CIA has ruled out that hundreds of reported cases of this mysterious Havana Syndrome are not part of a global campaign by a hostile country. But in about 24 cases, they've been unable to rule out foreign involvement. What do you make of this?
Well, I'm perplexed by it, Jose, and I'm demanding answers. Number one is I'm looking forward to a briefing, and I haven't had the opportunity to read the report yet, but I'm looking forward to a briefing because everything that led up to this point in terms of the information we received, and I'm talking about what's out there in the public sphere, makes it very clear that there was a different train of thought about what these attacks were. So we owe it to our diplomatic personnel and others across the globe who are pursuing the U.S. foreign policy and national interests to get to the bottom of it. I also don't understand why an interim report that seems to be somewhat inconclusive at the end of the day was being issued right now. So I have some very tough and serious questions that I'm going to be, demanding answers to because we owe it to our foreign service people.
Yeah, the timing, right, Senator? The timing seems a little odd.
It certainly does. Look, if you've exhausted all of your, research and investigation, and this is your conclusion, which you would have to back up as to how you come to this conclusion, what's the evidence behind that conclusion, then I understand it would be time for a report. But an interim report that still leaves open the possibility that foreign hostility may have been one of the actions taken here is in my mind, mind-boggling. I don't know what is the purpose of an interim report that is inconclusive. How did this dramatically change from everything we were being told up to now? And that's what we're going to go after and test, the proposition as to not only why did you issue it now, but how did you come to these conclusions?
Senator Bob Menendez, it's always a pleasure to see you. I thank you for being with me this morning, sir.
Great to be with you.